This is the host. Today's question is, can I elaborate on the case of Gabrielle Petito? Just a reminder, I'm not diagnosing anybody in this video, only speculating about what could be happening in a situation like this. First, I'll look at the case from the perspective of someone who knew nothing about it, and then I'll incorporate information from those who were involved. I'll start with the timeline of this case, and go into my perspective on what may have happened. On July 2nd, 2021, Gabby Petito left her home in Northport, Florida. She was going to start an adventure across the United States with her fiancé, Brian Laundrie. They planned to visit national parks out west and share their experience on social media. Gabby was 22 years old and Brian was 23. He had a lot of tattoos and was considered somewhat of a nomad. Gabby was described as bubbly and optimistic. At some point after they left Florida, the couple ended up in Utah. A week later, on July 12th, police officers in Moab, Utah, responded to a call of a domestic violence incident involving the couple. Gabby told police that she had hit Brian, but he admitted to striking her. He said that he had slapped her face so hard that she spit up blood. Police separated the couple for the night, and neither one spent any time in jail. There were conflicting stories from each person as to what really happened that night, so police let them go without making an arrest. That same day, the couple drove off in their Ford van and headed north. 2 days later, Gabby's family lost contact with her. On August 12th, they reported her missing. 1 week later, on August 19th, the FBI released a statement saying that they were looking for Gabby. She was considered missing and endangered, and that they wanted to interview Brian. Brian returned to Northport, Florida, alone in the van. According to his story, he last saw Gabby on August 12th. He said that she had gotten off the phone with her mother 2 days earlier on the 12th, and was upset because she had been feeling isolated and disconnected from her loved ones. She said that she wanted to take some time away from the relationship and some time to herself. He claims that he dropped her off at a reserved campsite, and when he returned to the site a few days later, she was gone. In Northport, Brian spoke with police for hours and answered questions, but when they asked him to take a polygraph test, he refused. He then left town and headed back to his original home in Northport, Florida. When he arrived, he spoke with police again and explained that he was returning to the home of his parents in Northport, Florida, to gather some items before returning to Wyoming to continue the search for Gabby. After arriving at his parents' home, Brian stopped communicating with police. According to his attorney, he would not answer questions until he had an attorney present. Police obtained a warrant to search the van and the home where Brian grew up. The FBI also offered a reward for any information in the case. This was unusual. Typically, the FBI gets involved in missing persons cases after somebody has been missing for several months or even a year or more. In this case, they got involved after only a couple of weeks. People started coming forward with information about questionable behavior from Brian, including a former girlfriend who said that Brian had threatened to harm himself in front of her. On September 1st, human remains were found in Wyoming in an area that was close to where the couple had been staying. 2 days later, the remains were identified as Gabby Petito. She had died by manual strangulation. On September 14th, a couple of weeks after refusing to cooperate with police, Brian Laundrie agreed to speak with investigators. His parents were in the room during the interview. During the interview, he changed his story about what happened to Gabby. According to his new version of events, he strangled Gabby during a fight, but it was not intentional. He said that they were arguing and she was yelling at him and he snapped. He said that he walked away from the argument, but then returned to find her unresponsive. He claimed that he panicked, put her body in a backpack and hid her somewhere. On October, Brian Laundrie was arrested. He was charged with being a fugitive from justice. It looked like he was planning to leave the country. He had bought a one-way ticket to Tampa, Florida. From there, he intended to fly to the Bahamas. He was hoping that if he could get out of the country, he could avoid prosecution. On October 4th, Brian Laundrie appeared in court. He waived his right to a hearing and was returned to Wyoming. He was charged with manslaughter. He pleaded not guilty. On November 22nd, the body of Gabby Petito was exhumed. Her remains were taken to a medical examiner who performed further tests to try to determine exactly what happened to her. On December, Brian Laundrie was indicted by a grand jury. He was charged with first-degree murder. A judge set bail at $1 million. He remains in jail in Wyoming. I'm moving to my perspective on this case. Here are my thoughts. Considering everything that we know, it looks like Gabby was killed sometime between August and August, around August 12th. There is no evidence that she left the area where her body was found. And if she had left the area, it's likely that somebody would have seen her. She was well known in the van life community, and there were many people who wanted her to succeed. Now, focusing on Brian Laundrie, just prior to the incident with Gabby, Brian had been living a kind of nomadic lifestyle. He went from place to place, working odd jobs to make enough money to maintain his lifestyle. This lifestyle is not necessarily bad. Many people do it. But Brian was not particularly good at maintaining employment. He was unreliable and irresponsible. I suspect that he was looking for a partner who would stabilize his life, and Gabby represented that opportunity. She came from a relatively affluent family.
Ow!
She had resources that he did not have. For example, she paid for the van and both their travel expenses. As the trip progressed, something happened that caused Brian to decompensate. Remember that the police report indicated that Brian had slapped Gabby hard enough that she spit up blood. It sounds like he was trying to scare her. He thought that he could control her, or that he could make her submit to his demands. Whatever the reason, Gabby was shaken by the event. Maybe she realized that she wasn't in love with Brian. Maybe she decided to end the relationship. Whatever the reason, Brian could not accept the reality that the relationship was over. He was not ready to be alone. So now we have the timeline. We have a sense of Brian's personality and some idea of his state of mind. To pull these pieces together, here's my theory. Gabby broke up with Brian. She decided that she wanted to live a different life than the one that Brian was offering her. She was done with his erratic behavior and his unwillingness to take responsibility. Brian could not accept the breakup. He felt entitled to Gabby, and he believed that she should be with him. Even if she didn't want to be with him, he became angry and lashed out physically. Gabby fell to the ground, and Brian began to choke her. He intended to kill her. He wanted her all to himself. He didn't want her to live a different life without him. As he choked her, she struggled briefly, but soon he had overpowered her. As she lay on the ground, Brian stood over her. He may have kicked her or punched her. When he was satisfied that she was dead, he carried her to the van and hid her body. Later, when he realized that he was in trouble, he moved her to a place where he believed her body would not be found. He tried to create a scenario where it appeared that she ran away from him. He told his parents about her disappearing act and how he was sure that she would turn up. In reality, he was lying to them and to everyone else. While Brian waited for the media frenzy to die down, he slept in the van, occasionally driving it around to keep it from getting stuck in the mud. After a few weeks, he got cold feet and decided to flee the country. He booked a flight to the Bahamas, but was arrested before he could board the plane. When police searched the van, they undoubtedly found a significant amount of evidence that linked Brian to the crime. Much of the physical evidence was probably destroyed when Gabby's body was removed from the van and placed in a new location. But perhaps some trace evidence remained, along with digital evidence from Gabby's phone and computer. Also, remember that Gabby was part of a community. Many people witnessed the interactions that she had with Brian. Many people may have observed Brian acting strangely around the time of the incident. Altogether, there should be enough evidence to convict Brian. Hopefully, the investigation is thorough enough to uncover it. Moving to the bigger picture, this case unfolded in real time across social media. People learned about this crime as it was being investigated. Unlike previous cases, the public was involved in this one. They were emotionally invested. Everybody hoped that Gabby would turn up safe and sound. As the investigation continued, more details emerged. The pictures of the happy couple, the descriptions of Gabby's character, and the accounts of strange behavior from Brian, it all added to the emotional component of the case. It was a modern type of crime drama. Everyone followed it daily and speculated about what was happening. The public demanded justice for Gabby, and hopefully that's what they'll get.